Today we're going to take dividing fractions one step further, and we're going to start dividing mixed numbers. But before we do that, we want to estimate our quotients. In order to estimate quotients, we can use compatible numbers. Compatible numbers are numbers that are close in value to our actual numbers. This makes it easier to do mental math. To estimate using mental math. So we use those compatible numbers to estimate the quotient of fractions and mixed numbers. This is helpful when we check our answers to make sure that it makes sense. So we're going to practice estimating a couple of these first. If we estimate 19 and 5/7, we want to use a compatible number. So basically we're going to round that number to 20 because 5/7 is a little bit more than half. So we're going to, just like when we round decimals, if it's more than 5 we go up, if it's 5 or less we let it rest. So 19 and 5/7 we're going to estimate up to 20 divided by 3 and 4/5 we're going to estimate that mixed number up to 4 because 4/5 is a little more than half as well. So 20 divided by 4 we're going to estimate that to be 5, and that's our estimate using compatible numbers. Now we're going to estimate 6 and 1/5 divided by 3/8 using compatible numbers. 6 and 1/5 is pretty close to 6. Less than half, so we're going to go down to that 6. Now 3/8 is less than 1, but it's also less than half of 1. So we're actually going to estimate that one to be close to 1/2 because that's an easier number to work with. And what that means, like we talked about the other day, how many halves are in 6. So 6 divided by 1/2. How many halves are in 6? There are 12 halves in 6. You could have drawn a model for that. You can keep, change, flip, which if you did that, you'd have 6 over 1 times 2 over 1, which would give you 12 over 1. That's where I got my 12 from. Okay, so that's just our estimating. Now when we divide mixed numbers, we want to first rewrite the number as an improper fraction. Then multiply your dividend by the reciprocal of the divisor. That is your keep, change, flip method. So let's try 7 and 1/2 divided by 2 and 1/2. So first we want to change this to improper. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15, so that will give me 15 over 2. Remember, your denominator stays the same. Change our sign. Then we want to go ahead and change this one. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5 over 2. But we are keep, change, flip, so we've got to flip that 5 over 2 to 2 over 5. Now we can go ahead and multiply this out. 15 times 2 is 30. 2 times 5 is 10. 30 divided by 10, you can cancel those zeros out. 3 over 1 gives you 3. Now you can also cross cancel. These 2's cancel out and become 1's. And the 5 and the 15 will cancel because they're both divisible by 5. So that would become a 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 gives you 3. So then 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 over 1 is still 3. All right, let's look at a word problem. A cookie factory is using 3 2/3 barrels of oatmeal in each batch of cookies. The factory used 7 1/3 barrels of oatmeal. How many batches of cookies did the factory make? So we know they used 3 2/3 barrels of cookies in each batch. They used 7 1/3 barrels of oatmeal. How many batches of cookies did the factory make? So we're trying to figure out how many of these 3 2/3 barrels is inside of the 7 1/3 that they used. So how many 3 2/3 are in 7 1/3? We set it up 7 1/3 divided by 3 2/3. We've got mixed numbers here, so we have to change them in improper. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 is 22. So we've got 22 over 3 divided by, change this mixed number, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. So we've got 11 over 3. Now, we same change flip or keep change flip. 22 over 3 times 3 over 11. Let's go ahead and cross cancel here because we got some easy numbers. 3 and 3 will cancel and become 1s. And 22 and 11 work. I can divide both of those by 11. 11 divided by 11 is 1. 22 divided by 11 is 2. So 2 times 1 gives me 2. And 1 times 1 gives me 1. And 2 over 1 is equal to 2. And there's your answer. So when we are dividing mixed numbers, we still keep change flip. We just have to make sure that we turn them into improper. Just like when you're dividing a mixed number by a fraction or a mixed number by a whole number. You still always change that mixed number into improper fractions first.